name is Rika, and today I will be showing you how to administer heparin through continuous infusion and how to do a chest tube dressing change. So we're going to start off by comparing our physician order, MAR, and our label here. So we have right patient, home windy, home windy, home windy. We have the right drug, which is heparin, heparin, heparin. We have the right dose, 25,000 unit, 25,000 unit, 25,000 unit. We have the right route, which is continuous infusion. The right time is now, which is 8:30. So now we're going to, it's also the right concentration, 100 units per ml, 100 units per ml, 100 units per ml. And it's running at the right rate, which is 1350, 1350, 1350. And I can also, now I'm going to put this away. So I'm done with my physician order. So my MAR says that heparin is 1350 units per hour, usual 18 units per kg per hour to maximum initial rate of 2150 units per hour. And my patient weight is 75 kg. So I've already checked this calculation is right. I have to adjust the heparin infusion to keep the APT between 59 to 99 seconds according to the following IV heparin doses adjustment scale. So before I give my patient heparin, I'm going to make sure their INR, APT, and CBC is done before we give them heparin. We're also going to make sure their APT is done 6 hours after any loading dose or any change in their infusion rate. We're also going to do an APT daily when their APT is in therapeutic range, which we'll look at it. So since my patient is 75 kg, 75 kg is right here, which means it's running at the right rate, which is 1350, 1350. So now that I have done that, I'm going to enter my patient room. I'm going to do a quick safety check. So as I'm entering, I'm doing a quick safety check. My patient doesn't look in distress. So I'm going to take my MAR. Good morning, Wendy. My name is Rika and I'll be your student nurse today. Could you please state your full name for me, your date of birth? Are you allergic to anything? Okay, good. So I'm also comparing her name for my MAR to this, so it matches. FIN number also matches, so that is good. So Wendy, today we'll be giving you heparin because we want to prevent any clots from forming in your, because you have DVT. So we want to prevent any clotting from forming. And later on, I'm also going to be doing your chest tube dressing change because it is due for change today. So at this point, the patient has the right to refuse, but they're not, so we're going to move on. So I can see that my heparin is already made by the pharmacy. I can also see that my line is already primed by my buddy nurse. She already primed and hooked the line. I can see that the right carriers that are infusing, which is primary, which is normal saline, and it's compatible with my heparin because I checked the monograph, and the monograph also says that it's a high alert medication, so I would need a second nurse, and also the fact that it can be given by student nurse, so I can give this as a student nurse. I've already checked during my preparation that this bag is prepared right by the pharmacy, by the right final concentration, right volume, and the right drug dose, which is premixed. So once everything is done, I'm going to tell all of my side effects to my patients after the incision. So once I have done that, I'm also going to make sure that my normal saline, which is running through the gravity, is attached to my patient. So it is attached to my patient, so that's what we want, so that's good. So now we're going to input our findings on the pump. So we're going to go under Coley Guardian, and we're going to select, so we're going to see where heparin is. So right there is heparin. So we want to do with the VTE, which is venous thrombosis. So that's the one we want. So we're going to click select. We're going to put the rate of 1350 because that's what the doctor has wanted as a rate. So once I have done that, I'm going to do my second nurse. So I have the right patient, home windy. I see her bracelet, home windy on the bag. And I see that I have the right drug, heparin, heparin, heparin. I have the right dose, 25,000 unit, 25,000 unit, 25,000 unit. I can see it's running at the right route, which is continuous infusion. Right time is now. And I can also see that my rate is 1350, 1350, 1350. Once everything is ready and matches what I have in the pump, I'm going to take my tubing. And my buddy nurse has already, she has already primed the white tubing for me. So all I need to do is just alcohol swab it. So we're just going to take this, and we're going to alcohol swab for 30 seconds and dry it for 15. Now I'm going to take this, make sure that I stay sterile. And we're going to connect. So once it's all connected and ready to go, I'm going to I'm going to call my second nurse, and she's going to do the third check with me because it's a high alert medication. So my buddy nurse is here, so we're doing that. We have the right patient, home windy. We have the right drug, heparin. Right dose, 25,000 units, 25,000 units, 25,000 units. The right rate is 1350, and the right time is now, and the right route is through continuous infusion. So everything matches this. My buddy nurse has already checked that it's the right bag with the right label, and it's the right kind of tubing, the tubing without any ports. We don't want any ports, so this doesn't have any ports, so that is good, and it's connected to my patient. So now I'm going to simply just start. And now I'm going to watch for, so once I have confirmed, now I'm going to start. And I can see my 3 drips. So once I've confirmed that I have my 3 drips, so Miss Wendy, so we're going to, if you notice any lightheaded, dizziness, or headache, please let me know and we'll take care of it. I'm also going to be monitoring her vital signs or any signs of bleeding. So we're going to have a control, we're going to watch out for that because heparin is a bleeding, because heparin can, as a side effect, it can make you bleed. So we want to watch out for any signs of bleeding. So I'm going to document everything. So now that I'm done, we're going to move on to the chest tube dressing. And since I haven't left the room, I know it's the same patient, so I don't have to check her name band again. So now before we begin with our chest tube, we want to make sure that our safety check is done for the chest tube.
Sorry, the pack. Sorry, my bad.
And since that fell, I'm not going to use, so I'm going to ask my buddy nurse to get me a new Bayfix. So she's just going to give me new Bayfix from outside. And thank you. So now that we have everything that we need here, we're going to do our safety check. So I'm going to do hand hygiene. I'm going to go around and look if my suction. So I'm checking if my suction is on, and my suction is on. And I can also see that my that it is at continuous, because we want the setting to be at low continuous setting. So it is at the green, anywhere in the green is low continuous setting, so which it is. I'm just going to follow my tubing around and watch out for any kinks or bends that would prevent the drainage. So as I'm going around, I'm looking at my drainage. So it's so I can see that it's connected here. So my suction is connected. I'm going to make sure that the drainage system is below my patient, which it is. We're also going to make sure that at the beginning of my shift, I'm going to take a piece of paper and I'm going to mark it where the drainage is. So I'm going to mark for the amount, the color, any odor if there's any coming, and consistency of the drainage. And then right over here we have the dry suction control. So we need to set this at 20 centimeter of water, which is prescribed by the doctor. And so this whole thing is working as indicated by this orange ball, which is visible. We're going to go down here to our air leak chamber. So I can see this should be titling and oscillating with my patient's breath. If I notice any continuous bubbling or jacuzzi bubble, that would indicate air leak. So what we would want to do for that, I would take my 2 clamps, which I have over there. So I would take my clamp and I would go in a continuous interval and I would look for where the air leak is, and then I would notify the physician. So at the bedside, you would also want to have 2 forceps clamps, normal saline, and gauze for your emergency supplies. So now that we have done that, we're going to start off with our dressing. So I'm going to put her hand in a comfortable position. Sorry. And we're going to expose the side that we need. And I notice there's no subcutaneous emphysema. The site looks good. The dressing is intact and everything. So now we're going to, once I've assessed the site, I'm going to do hand hygiene, and we're going to open our tray. So again, I'm going to make sure that I don't let this go because I want to turn it this way. So now I can let it go. And since that's very close right there, since I haven't touched any of it, I'm going to make sure that my hands are always above the things. And I'm just going to get rid of my garbage because I don't need it.
Which is what I kept 2 by 2. So now I'm going to put this by the side over here.
10 minutes remaining.
And I'm going to put my number 7.
Remaining.
And now I'm just going to simply take my forceps out.
Drain sponge.
Make sure that I'm not too close to my, and then I'm just gonna use tip to tip.
So my drain sponge is drenched in normal saline.
Make sure again that I'm not too close. Again, tip to tip. And I'm just gonna move this down here so I have more space. So once I've added everything that I need, I'm going to put this down as so. And this mark that you see is just
So I'm gonna get.
it was just my old jello net, so it's not wet, so it's not contaminated. So now I'm just going to simply add my drainage that I need.
Drain sponge. And I'm gonna put this
There we go.
1 centimeter border. So I'm
Garbage.
gonna put some gloves.
Just gonna put some extra just in case.
So I don't back my sterile field.
Beautiful. And now we're gonna take our, make sure that I stay sterile. I'm not touching any aspect of this. I'm just gonna
Can put your hand up. Thank you.
open it like this, and we're gonna take our forceps.
Intact, taking out of subcutaneous emphysema, there's none. So now I'm gonna stabilize, and I'm going to take out the old dressing.
Making aware of my 1-inch borders. Now that I've added everything, I'm just gonna add my normal saline.
Before I do the suction, I'm going to pre-oxygenate this
Just
patient.
stabilize it
So,
over there.
Mr. Fredrickson,
Taking out.
could you? Sorry, I'm going to.
And I'm
just
taking
gonna-
this out. So I'm gonna get my 4x4.
So I'm just gonna
I
put
mean my
this right
so
here,
forceps. I'm going to take note of the jello
and I'm
net.
gonna add my
And
normal
I'm taking note of the
saline.
sides. I can see the sides, and I'm going to put my
I'm going to turn this
4x4
on.
down, and I'm going to
So
clean.
right
So
there.
the side is not wet. There is no
So now that I've added everything that I need in my field, I'm going to simply put on my clean gloves. And we're going to take this old dressing out.
and dry that out. I'm going to clean down the faucet, the tube. Get
Again,
another
I'm going
one.
to check the suction again.
And now that I have my gloves on,
Just make sure
we're
that
gonna
was
make sure that we stabilize the tubing.
And I'm going to have one swipe round, one swipe dry. I mean clean.
Because you always want to stabilize your
To 120. So now it's about 95, so that's perfect.
And then I'm just going to clean the bigger surface area. And now I'm going to dry.
Remain sterility. I'm only going to touch about 5 inches. Okay, to make it sterile.
So
And you just want to take your time,
For this procedure,
I'm going to dry.
because after all, you're taking this out from a patient. You don't want to go too.
one
while I'm
swipe
inserting
down.
in, I'm not
And I'm
going
going
to
to dry
suction.
the chest tube. The chest tube.
Again, I'm making sure that I'm
Just
stabilizing
because
this
this is
whole
the
thing
magic
as I'm
it's really hard
taking it out.
inserting it, but in real life
So
it
now that
should
it's
be.
dry, and I'm
And,
taking note of the side,
After I
I'm going to
reach
get my jello net.
some resistance and or patients start coughing, I'm going to
So now
start
that I have
intermittent
tick, I can see that the
suction
dressing
and
is
rotate
intact.
catheter.
The stoma side doesn't look, there's no redness, it looks healthy, there's no sign of infection, and I'm going to document all of that. So now I'm going to take my blue forceps, and we're going to take this jello net out.
I'm going to wrap that around.
And now this is all garbage, this gloves is all garbage. I'm going to do hand hygiene, and I'm going to put on new gloves,
Occlusive.
and we're going to clean our site by cleaning it with normal saline. So now that I have my gloves on, I'm going to make sure that
I'm going to get my drain.
again, be aware of how I'm holding my forceps.
have my tray.
So now we're just gonna put these right here because it's still within our sterile field.
Some hand hygiene.
I'm going to put this over here. And I'm going to put the second one in another
Okay,
direction.
so now I'm just gonna use these because I'm gonna be covering a little bit bigger area. So we're gonna make a
I'm
rosette
going to
out
put
of
my
them,
4x4s on top so that when I put the dressing, I'm going to tug on the skin.
and I'm gonna dip it in normal saline, get rid of the water,
So now that's
and we're going to go
I'm gonna
from
get
the
my,
center
my body nurse to go
underneath.
get
Make
me
sure I'm
another-
holding it.
to go get me
And this
two
can be
Mefix tapes. So
garbage.
my body nurse is going to stay with the patient. I'm going to go get two Mefix tapes.
And I'm just gonna get rid of the water and just clean the bottom because the big one didn't clean it properly. So we're just gonna go underneath. And now I'm gonna take another big one.
Date and time, one of it.
Dip it in, get rid of the water.
So get my date and
And
time.
now we're just gonna clean
Now
the
I'm gonna cover it up.
surrounding. There. So now that we have cleaned the whole area, we're going to dry it with our. I'm also going to make sure that I clean my tubing. So let's just clean that as well before I dry. Dip it in normal saline, get rid of the water, and just clean my
I'm gonna get my
tubing,
second
garbage. And I'm going to take my
Clean gloves.
totally occlusive.
You have 5 minutes remaining.
And I'm going to tense
there.
that
So
side.
now I'm just going to dry my dressing. So we're gonna go from center
So now I'm
to
going
inward,
to
and that cleans the
do
whole
my
thing.
neck prep. I'm going to
Now I'm going to
and I'm going to prep my
I'm also
neck.
going to dry my last part, which is my tubing.
And
So now that is all dry, we are ready to put in our jello net. So I'm just gonna take my jello net here.
physician's order.
Candle. And
So my
twist it.
physician's order is this and my
So
mom.
this is garbage.
Open plan.
So now I'm going to take this portion.
Gonna get my mom. So here's my mom. So I'm going to make sure this is correctly transcribed. So what sizing, Fin is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No known allergies. White drug, fentanyl, white dosage, 10 micrograms, 10 micrograms. White lockout interval 5 minutes. White root is IV, white time, and the time is now. So it's correctly transcribed. So I'm going
So you want to make sure, even though the forceps is touching the outer, we already cleaned it. So it's all good.
Clean.
So I can see that it's fentanyl ILR, so 2 nurse check. And it's going to be given by student nurse, so I can give that. So I'm going to look for the PCA preparation. So my doctor ordered 10.
So now that I know that it's fully occlusive, there's no air that can get in, and I'm also aware of how I'm holding my forceps. So now I'm just going to take my drainage gauze.
So to get that, so I have my 50 ml normal saline, and my drug is not expired, so I'm good. So I'm going to get my,
So we're going to put one in this.
I'm going to get my
Direction.
blood spill. Making sure I didn't touch the tip. And I'm going to get,
While we're cleaning the stoma site,
so I'm going to clean for 30 seconds.
There we go. So now we're going to take another one.
10 and
Now I'm going to dry the site.
30 seconds. Let it dry for 15. So now that it's done, I'm going to get my
And we're going to do this in a different
ML
angle.
in the first bowl. So I touch the tip of that. I'm going to clean it again.
So now that it's in different direction, we're going to put on our 4x4 on top of it. So now that it's all good, we don't need this anymore, so I'm just gonna put it back. I'm going to take my dressing out, and we're going to put our meat fix on. And I've already date and time my dressing.
For 10 seconds, let it dry for 15. Get my 5 ml of air. So put inside.
Making sure that it's fully exclusive. There's no way that air can get in, so you want to make sure that that is done.
So I'm going to get rid of the air bubbles in there.
I'm just gonna put one more
Use my finger.
at the bottom.
As long as I remain inside of the just put it all sterile.
Air. I'm just going to make sure I have 10 ml. So I have 10 ml right here, and there's no bubbles or anything. It's good.
Now
So I'm
put the
going to,
mask
and I've made my
So
needle
we're going to
already.
make the
So it
tent,
is 40 ml of normal.
done.
so then my patient doesn't pull on the tubing. So I'm just gonna tent the tubing.
Physician's order, so it's
And now that I know that it's fully exclusive, the dressing is good. So now I'm going to make sure that I do all of cleanup. I'm going to put my patient's hand back to where it was. Make sure the bed is to the lowest position. Document all of the finding, which includes the redness, how the site looked, any drainage, and how did the patient tolerated the dressing. And also document all of my heparin infusion that I've done. And that includes the